In today's video, we're going to try to make a working probe lens for about $100. A lot of you may have seen some of those videos where people have a weird, funky, long lens and they're able to film way up close or even inside of a bunch of different things. Those are really cool and we kind of wanted one here, but they are about $1,500 and they aren't going to work with every camera. They make lots of versions, I believe, to fit with the different size lenses on different cameras. I thought it would be really cool if we could find a way to make one for cheaper. Not everyone's gonna have really nice cameras, and if you do, you aren't necessarily gonna wanna spend $1,500 for this probe lens. As I understand it, that's actually a fairly cheap price for a good camera lens, but we think we can go even cheaper. So today, we're going to see if we can build our working probe lens for about $100. Here's the basic idea. We're going to see if we can convert a borescope into a working probe lens that we can use to film with. The first step of that is to get what's called a borescope or endoscope. And I went on Amazon and I searched around to find the highest resolution one I could. This one here, made by Depstech, is an 8 megapixel borescope. 8 megapixels isn't all that much compared to some of the cameras we have on our phones these days, but it was pretty high for one of these endoscope or borescopes. Most of them are 1 or 2 megapixels. I really wanted to try and get something that could actually film in HD, so this seemed to be the highest resolution one. This comes with an app and hardware, and you can actually plug the camera right into here. It will actually send out its own Wi-Fi signal. You connect to it, open the app, and you can film just like that. However, as I started trying to film with it, I noticed it was dropping frames like crazy. So while it does film in HD, it plays back in what looks like, someone's pressing the pause button all the time. And that was regardless of what device I connected to it with the Wi-Fi, how close or far away I was, whether there were other Wi-Fi signals around. No matter what, I was not getting a really strong, stable connection to it. So I decided what I really needed was to not send the signal over Wi-Fi, but to be hardwired into my camera. And that wasn't the only change I wanted to make. If you do use this, the built-in machine, it has a pretty nifty feature. It has like a ring light built right onto the end of it. You can actually dim and brighten that light or turn it off entirely. And it's pretty nifty. If you're trying to see down a pipe, down a drain, in a wall, something like that, this works great and you can just use the app as it comes. So this particular model I think was about $80 on Amazon and it works well. But it doesn't work well for filming things smoothly. And I tried to reach out to the company and ask them if there was a way to connect this model to a computer. They never got back to me. I researched a ton, couldn't find anything. This is mostly just a Wi-Fi transmitter with some processing something in it. And it is too bad that it doesn't also have just a way to plug right into it to get the uninterrupted signal. Maybe there's someone out there who knows how to do that. And if you think you can, I would love to know about it, because an even better, more streamlined, like using this piece of hardware would be great. But here's what we've adapted to. I got this adapter. I have USB-C on my phone, so I got a USB to USB-C. Unfortunately, the phone cannot control the light. I went so far as to contact the developer of the app that I am using and asked him if he had ever tried to figure out how to make it control light, and he said he had looked into it, but he had never found a way because it involves literally just sending a higher output electrical signal. This is something that the adapter can do, but the phone app is not so great at. So we needed a way to adapt around that. I know you guys are thinking like, is this worth it? Is this something I want to do? That's up to you. I think the shots you can get with a probe lens are so cool. They look amazing, and because this is designed for like looking in pipes and drains and behind walls, it can focus really, really close or pretty far away. So it has, if you have autofocus on, you can look at things close, far. You can do a manual focus, a little slider bar, so you can even like pull focus while you're moving. It's pretty nifty stuff. So what I did is I went and I got about 1 foot of 1/2-inch PVC. They sell this in like 2-foot lengths at the hardware store for like $2, something like that. Cut it to 1 foot length, and then it's just painted black because I figured that's a little less reflective. If it's inside something, we don't want extra light bouncing around. So it's just a matte black painted onto the PVC, and we're going to fit our endoscope down into the pipe. Now we don't want it to be moving around and shaking around, so what I've also gone ahead and done is just wrapped some electrical tape around the top of this. We're gonna set that aside for a second, take a quick look at our light. Now I went to a hobby shop and they had these amazing tiny little ring lights. How fantastic is this? This is designed to be like a headlight inside a model car, like a 1/8 scale or something like that. This little halo light is powered by 3 volts, and we should be able to get that from a double holder for AAA batteries. It doesn't have to be AAA, they're just the smallest, and that's convenient. I don't want to just sit there holding the wires all the time. So the best course of action is going to be to solder them together. Before I get this soldered, I'm actually going to attach it to the front of this lens, and this is probably about the trickiest part of this whole build. This right here is some double-sided foam tape. It's very strong, very sticky, and we need to cut basically a ring the same shape as the back of our light. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna peel this back, and we're just going to attach the ring just like that. And we are going to trim off all of the extra. So we're just gonna use a hobby knife here and cut out right around the inside of that ring. Now, we want to stick this ring onto our lens. That's pressed down nicely. We can now just take some black electrical tape, and along the outside of this camera, we're going to tape it down. These wires are fairly thin, and they're going to add very, very little in terms of dimension to our probe lens, so we should still have pretty much the same ability to fit in tight spaces that we had before. Now at this point, most of the build is complete. I do want to attach the battery case. What I'm going to do is, I don't know exactly which direction is up on the camera yet, so I'm going to turn the camera on, figure out the correct orientation, then I'm going to keep the battery case right at that point on here because it just makes it easier to hold and control, and it's a sort of visual marker for which direction is up anyway. So let's get this plugged into my phone. All right, now I know where straight up and down is, and I can go ahead and attach my battery case about right there. I do want to make sure that I still have access to the on-off switch that controls my light. Now, with a lens like this, holding it steady is always going to be the trickiest part. And you can do post-production steady and stuff, but I did think it would be kind of fun to come up with a few ways to get some steadier shots. The first one I came up with is little Lego wheels and a stack of Lego bricks. Very simple. The idea is just that you can set the camera on it, and in at least some dimensions, it's going to steady your shot, but it's not going to be like bouncing up and down the same way it would if I just held it. Now, these little Lego feet work decently for driving it around on top of a table or something, but the best shots are really going to be something even more mechanical. We don't want to get into any big fancy mechanical sliders right now, although if you were going to use this a lot, it would definitely be worth getting your hands on or building one of those. There are all sorts of apparatuses that you can use to control a camera, mount to, and you could, you could have this turning, you could have this sliding, you could have this panning, twisting, whatever you want it to do. It can do quite a few things. We are going to try something very DIY going along with the theme of everything else. Got this little camera, well, our cameraman has this little camera mount, and it's nice and angled and twistable, and you can put it to kind of wherever you want. So what we're gonna do is we are just going to take this, and we're gonna take this welding clamp, and we're gonna attach it to a drawer. Drawers, at least these drawers, have nice bearing slides on that go in and out pretty darn smoothly. So I think what we're gonna try and do is I'm just gonna clamp this onto the drawer, then I'm going to clamp our camera onto this. This is adjustable, so we can adjust it, point it, raise it, lower it within working area, and then we should have a nice smooth slide to make our probe lens move in and out. I think we should give it a try. Let's set up some stuff to film. All right guys, this is a lot of fun. It did come down to about $80 for all of the parts for this, with the light and the camera that goes with it. We might be as high as like 110 once we have the battery case and tape and stuff like that. Overall, I am actually very pleased with how it works. It's not going to give you the same results as the highest end cameras. A $1,500 lens, yes, you're gonna get better shots out of it, especially because it can be attached to a better camera to begin with. But this works really well. The developer of the app I use actually also said that if I had a phone with USB 3 connection, my phone's a little older, only has USB 2, but apparently it could actually do larger sizes and higher frame rates with that. My data transfer speed is limited out of the camera. I might try and get my hands on one of those at some point to give it a test. If you have other things you want to see us film with the probe lens, let us know. It's kind of a shiny new toy that we can use, so we're going to try and incorporate it into some videos. If we need good close-up shots, inside shots of things, hopefully we can really make this thing work well. Guys, that is it for today, but you know, we've always got more for you to see. Go ahead and click that button down there to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a cool video, and we'll see you in the next one. Talk to you then.